This video will take us through objectives number 52, two-step equations with fractions and decimals. So we're going to start out with using our distributive property with our common denominator, and our common denominator here would be 12. So if we put 12 over here, and it doesn't matter which side we're going to put it on. So if we take it, we got to be careful of our signs that are in our equation. So we're going to take our 12 into our 12, leaves us with 1. So 1 times a negative 11 gives us a negative 11x. We're going to move on to the next term, which we're going to cross probably in a different way. That way we can kind of keep everything straight. 6 into 12 gives us 2. 2 into 1, or 2 times 1 is 2. And our last one is we have our 3, which will cross this way, and then we cross here, so 3 into 12 leaves us with 4. 4 times a negative 1 equals a negative 4. So now we just have a two-step equation that we have to work with. So our first step in that is we're going to get rid of the 2 by taking it by a negative, doing that to both sides. So we have a negative 11x equals a negative 6. Our next step is to get rid of the negative 11 by dividing. We're going to do that to both sides. So we're going to cross those two out. Negative, negative, dividing makes a positive. And that's the only thing that we're going to do over here is we're just going to simplify our signs, and we end up with a positive 6 over 11s. For our next equation, we still have fractions, and we also have, again, a common denominator of 12. So we're just going to put this on this side to show you that you can do the common denominator either on one side or the other, it doesn't matter. And we're going to do the same cross-canceling. So we have our 12 here. 12 into 12 gives us 1. 1 times a negative 5 gives us a negative 5x. And we're going to cancel with the 3. So 3 into 12, again, eliminates that, gets us 4. 4 times 1 is a positive 4. And our last canceling is our 6. So our 6 into our 12 leaves us 2. 2 times 5 in this case gives us 10. So we're going to again get down to a two-step equation. So we have a negative 4 to both sides. That will eliminate the 4 on the left-hand side. So I have a negative 5x equals. Different signs I subtract, larger number carries the sign. So I have 10 minus 4 gives us 6. And the last step is I'm going to divide by a negative 5 to both sides. Negative, negative. 5's go to 1. So now I have a positive divided by a negative, so it's going to make it a negative 6/5. And for what we're doing, we're just going to leave it as a improper fraction. Our third problem is now with decimals. So we're going to use the same principle as what we did on the first two, except we're not using fractions, obviously, but we're looking at the place value of our numbers. And being that all of them are in the tens position, the easiest way that we can take this and get rid of our decimals is by tens. So we're going to multiply everything by 10. So we're just going to distribute the 10 through. Anytime that you do that, it simply just moves the decimal one place to the right, and it eliminates your decimals. Now, in some of these problems that you get, they're going to ask you to round, which means that when you get your answer, you're going to end up having to go back to a decimal answer, and you will have to round it. So you'll have to go past one place past what they give you. So if they give you hundredths, you got to go to thousandths to round it to that place. So basically we just rewrite it as whole numbers. So we have a negative 49x, a positive 38 equals a positive 47. So in this case I'm going to subtract my 38 or take it by a negative and do that to both sides. That leaves me with a negative 49x equals, and again different signs I subtract, so the larger number carries it. So I'm going to have, in this case, my positive is going to be my larger number, so it's going to be a positive 9. My last step is I'm going to take and divide, and I'm going to divide by a negative 49 to both sides. Again, this makes this positive, this goes to 1. our x is, and this is where you're now going to set up 9 divided by 49. Now take care of your signs first. That would give us a negative answer, so you're going to have to add a decimal and a 0, and now you're going to start dividing. So when you get done, you're going to end up with an answer of negative 0.18. And up here on your division, you would have to, here's our tenths, here's our hundreds, here's our thousands. So this is the place that they're asking us probably to round to. This is the number that's going to tell us what to do. So we don't really have to finish the problem at the end. We just have to figure out what this number is so we know what we're going to do with this number. And make sure we keep our negatives and positives straight. So there's our answer for our third problem. Our last problem is, again, what looks like a fractional problem, but I wouldn't use the shortcut in this one because we only have a fraction attached to the letter and not to this. And if you do that, it gets to be really, you get to work with larger numbers than you want to. So all I'm going to do is simply take this and start working it as a two-step. So I'm going to take a positive 2 to both sides. That way it'll eliminate this. And now I can just work with one fraction attached to a letter, and that will give me 12 here. So again, when we get rid of a fraction onto a letter, I multiply by the reciprocal. That will cancel everything to 1 here, giving us y. So I multiply this side by the reciprocal. I'm going to put my 12 over 1 so it looks like a fraction, and I'm just going to cross cancel to get this taken care of. So then I have 2 times 5, which gives our answer of 10. So in this case, again, I would not use the shortcut. So hopefully this will help you a little bit more in the review and on these questions as you go through the year.